Born in 446 BC during the fledgling days of the Roman Republic, Marcus Furius Camillus emerged as a figure who would shape ancient Rome into greatness. His family, part of the patrician class, instilled in him a profound respect for Roman tradition, law, and religion. Though not of immense wealth, the Furius family boasted a lineage of civic dedication and military service. Marcus was educated in the disciplines that defined Rome: virtue, rhetoric, philosophy, and martial training. Young Camillus stood out early in life. While many of his peers focused on their family estates or political ambitions, Marcus displayed an insatiable hunger for knowledge and strategy. He admired the great heroes of Rome's past and vowed to shape its future. His instructors noted his sharp intellect and commanding presence, qualities that would later make him a revered leader both on and off the battlefield. Camillus' early years were shaped by the political and military turmoil that defined the mid-5th century BC. The Roman Republic was still in its infancy, navigating the challenges of balancing interests of patrician and the commoners, also known as plebeian, while at the same time defending its borders from constant threats. The Volscians, Equians, and the Etruscans regularly raided Roman territories, creating a volatile environment for a young patrician like Marcus to grow up in. Roman society was highly hierarchical, with the patrician class expected to provide both military leaders and statesmen. Camillus' family traced its lineage back to the founding days of Rome, a legacy that carried great expectations. His education likely included a deep study of Roman laws, as codified by the 12 Tables, and exposure to the practicalities of governance. In this atmosphere, Marcus not only absorbed Rome's ideals, but began formulating his vision of a city that could rise above its tribal squabbles and take its place as a dominant power in the Mediterranean. Rome in the 5th century BC was a city in transition, expanding from a small city-state into a burgeoning republic. Daily life for Camillus reflected the dual responsibilities of a patrician. In the Senate, he pushed for the development of Rome's infrastructure, understanding that a stronger city would support a stronger army. He advocated for the building of aqueducts, which would later become symbols of Roman engineering prowess, and of course the fortification of the city's walls. Outside the forum, Camillus regularly participated in military drills, honing his skills and studying strategies from Rome's Etruscan and Greek neighbors. His civic engagements extended to addressing the plebeian class, who were often at odds with the patrician over issues of debt and land distribution. Camillus' ability to navigate these political tensions without alienating either side revealed his early knack for leadership. For him, daily life was a balancing act between duty, ambition, and service to the Republic. Life in the early Republican Rome was a stark contrast to the grandeur the city would later achieve. The city itself was a collection of wooden and thatched structures surrounded by simple fortifications. Public spaces like the Forum were bustling centers of activity, where senators debated policy, merchants traded goods, and plebeians voiced grievances. Camillus' days often began at dawn, as the Roman workday started early to take advantage of the cooler hours. Afternoons were reserved for the Senate deliberations or military drills. Evenings, when not spent hosting or attending banquets, were dedicated to studying military strategy, drawing inspiration from the Greek hoplite warfare and the tactics of Etruscan city-states. This rigorous routine ensured that Camillus was prepared for the multi-phased demands of Roman leadership. In 406 BC, Rome turned its attention to Veii, a wealthy Etruscan city-state that had long been a rival. For 10 grueling years, the Romans besieged the city, unable to break its formidable defenses. It was Camillus who devised the strategy to turn the tide. Recognizing the futility of conventional attacks, Camillus ordered the construction of underground tunnels to breach Veii's defense. Roman engineers working tirelessly tunneled beneath the city walls and emerged in the heart of Veii, catching its defenders completely off guard. The Romans stormed the city, securing a monumental victory. The spoils of Veii, including vast amount of gold, bolstered Rome's economy and funded future campaigns. Camillus' triumph earned him a grand ovation in Rome and established him as the Republic's preeminent general. The conflict with Veii was a defining moment in Rome's early expansion. Veii, an Etruscan city located just 16 kilometers north of Rome, had been a thorn in the Republic's side for decades. Its wealth derived from fertile lands and trade made it a powerful rival. The war against Veii was not just a military endeavor, it was also a psychological struggle, as the Romans sought to assert dominance over their culturally sophisticated Etruscan neighbors. Camillus' role in the siege was revolutionary, recognizing the limitations of traditional siege tactics. He borrowed from the Greeks' use of sapping and mining to undermine fortified cities. The decision to dig tunnels beneath Veii's walls was not without risk. Roman soldiers worked tirelessly for months in the damp, dark confines of the tunnels, battling both exhaustion and the threat of collapse. When the city finally fell, the victory was celebrated with unprecedented fervor, including the dedication of a tenth of the spoils to the Roman god Apollo, marking one of Rome's earliest moments of state-sponsored religious offerings. Camillus was a religious man, believing in the Roman religion. He frequently performed sacrifices before battles. This earned him the respect of Rome's religious class and the loyalty of his soldiers, but it was his ability to inspire confidence that truly set him apart. Whether addressing the Senate or rallying troops, Camillus' words carried weight. He had an innate ability to unify factions and galvanize people toward a common purpose. Camillus' special characteristics extended beyond his piety and leadership. His reputation as a general who led from the front gave him immense credibility among his soldiers, many of whom viewed him as a father figure. He introduced reforms in the Roman army that emphasized adaptability, preparing them to fight against diverse enemies such as Etruscans, Gauls, and Latins. Camillus was also a pragmatic diplomat, capable of brokering peace when necessary and forging alliances that strengthened Rome's position. In 390 BC, Rome faced one of its greatest calamities. The Gauls, led by Brennus, invaded and sacked the city, leaving only the Capitoline Hill unconquered. Camillus, who had been unjustly exiled due to political rivalries, was recalled by the desperate Senate. Rallying the remnants of Rome's forces, Camillus executed a brilliant counter-offense, defeating the Gauls and securing Rome's freedom. After confronting Brennus during ransom negotiations, Camillus famously declared, "Rome doesn't pay tribute with gold, but with steel." He then led his troops to a decisive victory. This moment solidified his place in history as the savior of Rome. The Gallic invasion was a turning point that exposed both the vulnerabilities and resilience of early Rome. The Battle of the Allia, where the Gauls routed the Roman army, was a humiliating defeat that left the city defenseless. The subsequent sack was devastating, with temples desecrated and citizens enslaved or killed. Despite this, the defenders of the Capitoline Hill held out long enough for Camillus to regroup. His victory over the Gauls was as much as psychological as it was military. By refusing to pay Brennus' ransom and decisively defeating the invaders, Camillus restored Rome's confidence. The aftermath of the invasion saw significant changes, including the reconstruction of the city and reforms to the military and civic institutions. Camillus' role in these efforts earned him the title of Father of Rome, a recognition of his unparalleled contribution to Rome's survival and resurgence. Camillus was appointed Dictator of Rome 5 times. He used his unparalleled authority to rebuild Rome after its destruction. He restructured the military, improved the city defenses, and enacted reforms that balanced the interests of patricians and plebeians. His leadership laid the groundwork for Rome's transformation from a vulnerable city-state into a rising power. Camillus' achievement as a dictator extended far beyond his military successes. After the infamous Gallic sack, he spearheaded the rebuilding of Rome, including the construction of stronger defensive walls. He also implemented military reforms, transitioning from the traditional phalanx formation to the more flexible manipular system, which became a cornerstone of Roman warfare. Domestically, he played a key role in mediating the conflict of the orders, advocating for laws that granted plebeians greater political representation while preserving the authority of the Senate. His administration also saw the establishment of more equitable land distribution policies, ensuring that Rome's growing population had the resources to thrive. Camillus' ability to govern with both strength and fairness earned him the admiration of all classes, solidifying his legacy as one of Rome's most effective leaders. He was not only a warrior, but a statesman and a peacemaker. His wisdom often resolved conflicts within Rome, strengthening the unity of its people. He mentored younger leaders, ensuring that his vision for a strong and just republic endured beyond his lifetime. Camillus' diplomatic encounters were as significant as his military exploits. As a mediator during the conflict of the orders, he struck a delicate balance between the demands of the plebeians for greater rights and the patricians' desire to maintain their privileges. Beyond Rome, Camillus negotiated alliances with neighboring Latin states, securing their support in campaigns against common enemies. His diplomatic efforts not only expanded Rome's influence, but also laid the foundation for the Latin League, a crucial alliance in Rome's early expansion. In 365 BC, at the age of 81, Camillus succumbed to a plague that swept through Rome. His death marked the passing of a generation, but his legacy endured. Often called the second founder of Rome, Camillus' vision and leadership shaped the republic's destiny. He left behind a Rome stronger, united, and prepared for the challenges of the centuries to come. Camillus' death coincided with one of the most challenging periods in Rome's early history. The plague that took his life had weakened the city, but the institutions he had helped strengthen ensured its survival. His funeral was a public affair of unprecedented scale, with senators, plebeians, and soldiers alike mourning his loss. His contributions were immortalized in statues, rituals and festivals, including the annual celebration of his victories at Veii and against the Gauls. Historians such as Livy and Plutarch later chronicled his life as a model of Roman virtue, emphasizing his piety, discipline, and unwavering commitment to the Republic. Camillus's influence extended far beyond his lifetime. His strategies and reforms were studied by subsequent generations of Roman leaders. From Scipio Africanus to Augustus, his legacy as a unifier and protector of Rome cemented his place in history as one of the Republic's greatest figures. Long after his death, Marcus Furius Camillus remained a symbol of Rome's resilience. His name was invoked by generals and statesmen as the epitome of Roman virtue. Camillus' story became part of Rome's collective memory, enshrined in public art, literature, and education. His statue in the Forum was not merely a commemoration, but a reminder of the qualities that defined the ideal Roman leader. Even during the imperial period, when Rome's values evolved, Camillus' legacy endured as a touchstone for the ideals of the Republic. From his early days in the Senate to his legendary military victories, Marcus Furius Camillus shaped the destiny of Rome. And so the story of Camillus ends. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more legends, folklore, and histories that shaped cultures across time. Until next time, keep wondering.